Hey guys, welcome to the show again. This is Nizar speaking. Today I have the pleasure to welcome a guy that I just met literally, this 2 weeks ago, right? Live in the same building, but turns out that we have the same sort of similar, not view on the world, but similar hobbies, similar passions about life. We're gonna talk about them in a second. And yeah, so Eddie, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thanks, man, for accepting the invitation. That's a great pleasure.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I am super honored that you guys invited me to be on this podcast, and I just think it's super cool that, you know, we ran into each other and we're both kind of in similar positions in our entrepreneurship journey, and
Exactly.
it's pretty cool. So I'm super pumped to be here.
Thank you, Eddie. And so, guys, just to put you a bit in the loop, so we have three common things, right? So, love for nature, right? That's one. Second one is love of fitness, just being fit, being healthy, being in a good shape, right? And the third one is that we are also, we are on an entrepreneurship journey. We kind of building our own, also YouTube, Instagram channel. We're gonna talk about it in a second. But also in general in life, we like to try things, take some risk, and just have fun, just playing around, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's
right.
Yeah. So it's just amazing to talk about all that. Maybe we can start with your introduction. Just present yourself. Who is Eddie to the world, right? and yeah, let's take it from there.
Yeah. So just to kind of give you myself in a nutshell, I'm currently here in Barcelona right now on a semester exchange program for law school. So I'm in my third year in law school at University of San Diego. I've lived in California, in San Diego, California for 8 years, and I go to law school there. I was born in Wisconsin. I went to high school in New Hampshire, and I lived a few other places in the United States. I went to college at Hamilton College in upstate New York. I also got a master's in biology at Texas Christian University in Texas. And basically, just to define myself, I would say I just love nature. I worked as a biologist for 5 years around San Diego, and my biggest hobby has always been just going out in nature, finding wildlife, and just exploring and learning about the natural world. And I also love my health and fitness journey. So basically 5 years ago, I started a YouTube channel where the goal of the YouTube channel was to educate people about nature and just to spread the love of nature, not necessarily in like a crazy dangerous way. You see a lot of other people do like crazy stunts with wild animals, but just to try to make the aspect of observing the natural world more interesting to people. And then this year I decided to start a business, an online fitness coaching business, where the theme was teaching people how to be more fit and healthy, but in a way that's also more environmentally sustainable, that connects them to nature. So yeah, it's been my latest project on the side for the past year, and it's been a lot. It's been a tough journey. Had my ups and downs through the past year, but
Yeah, we're gonna come back to that. And yeah, that's interesting to focus on those.
Yep.
Those moments that make you grow as a person, right?
Yep.
So maybe if I start with, let's just break the show maybe in three sections. So nature first, right?
Right.
So because most people today, most young generations mostly, live in this society which is full of stimulus around, right? Mostly in big cities, right? Barcelona, Paris, London, etc.
Right.
California have LA and New York and so on. So just young people love these kind of cities because it's so dynamic, right? And it makes sense.
Right.
And this is where you can go to study, where you have fun with your friends. But how can you what's the arguments for nature? Like, just how can I just get away from all this stimulus and decide, okay, it's time for me to just go to nature, get, I don't know, once in a weekend or like the whole summer, go on a van trip, go on a, like more camping kind of sort of setting. What's the arguments behind it? Why do we need it? Why do we need nature, right?
So I think we absolutely need nature for many different reasons. if you look at the scientific literature, they've done countless studies about psychologically the benefits of being out in nature.
Yeah, they call it, they have some term for it, right? Detox or bath, right? Nature bath. That's
I've heard that. Yeah,
in Canada, for example. Yeah.
For sure. And they've done studies. The more time you spend out in nature, just the more relaxed you are, the better it is for your mental health. And actually, specifically, looking for wildlife and observing wildlife actually really benefits your mental health. They've done a lot of studies on birds. And by the way, the type of wildlife that I love finding the most is birds. I'm a birder, and
like bird watching.
Yeah, bird watching, and it's honestly, I would say across the world, it's still kind of known as, it's getting more popular among younger people, but it's still not really that mainstream of an activity. It's still kind of a dorky activity, but I mean, the truth is, I just think that most people have never gone bird watching, and it just really can bring so many people joy that they never would realize. For me, it brings me so much joy, and there's so many reasons why I think it brings me joy, but it is pretty interesting. I think one reason why observing birds brings me so much joy is just this simple idea that it's an unexpected reward when you're looking for wildlife.
Yeah.
And this is basically documented in classic psychology. When you are doing an activity where the reward is unexpected, the amount of dopamine that's released is maximized. Or I don't know if maximize is the right word, but it's greater.
In a sense, right?
Yeah, so, and these are very classic studies in psychology. So, the thing is, when you go bird watching, when you go out into the field looking for something, you never know what you're going to find. You usually find something new. So I think that's one reason. But just, generally, nature is so important for everyone to find. And one thing that I really like to emphasize on my YouTube channel is observing nature is always an adventure no matter where you are. I am super lucky that I've taken trips all over the world to view nature, to find cool wildlife, For example, I've been to the Galapagos Islands, I've been to the Amazon rainforest, I've been to the Australian outback, and these are all places that are these exotic places that most people just dream about watching nature documentaries on TV. But you can also find nature in your own backyard, even if you're in a city. Here in Barcelona, we're in a packed-in city.
1 hour away, for example, you can find like just mountains and hills and.
Well, so the thing is that I think a lot of people don't realize is, even in a city, they don't have to walk that far to view some beautiful nature. Here, you walk a few blocks to this hill, and I don't want to butcher the name of it. Montjuic, or even the opposite direction, that other park where the zoo is.
Ciutadella, for example. Yeah.
So there's the zoo itself, but also, and that's, zoos are a whole different topic, but even going through a city park, if you're able to appreciate the fine details in nature, the story behind all of the physiological parts of a butterfly that you might see land on a flower in front of you in a city park, and really hone in on just the whole story but behind such a beautiful creature, you can enjoy nature. You don't need to be in a huge national park with a big landscape. You don't need to see an incredibly rare, endangered wild animal halfway across the world. If you learn how to appreciate just the little things in nature, you don't have to go far to really connect with nature.
Yeah, so this is I think a very, very important point, because it's not about changing the landscape. There is this famous, I like this quote from Marcel Proust, a famous French author. Like, the idea is not to change landscapes. That's not the most important, but to change the eyes, right? It's your level of consciousness around you. And are you aware of the surroundings? Do you see?
Exactly.
Or do you not? You're just walking by and not paying attention, right?
Exactly. And my life, so as a birder, I'm constantly listening. I'm constantly watching. And I don't know the birds that well around here. I'm learning, but back in the United States, for example, almost all birds, I know the vocalizations pretty well, at least to a certain extent. Whenever I go walking through, you know, the school campus at home or down the street in any neighborhood, the way I perceive the world, there's a lot more details that I'm perceiving in my view compared to many other people, because, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, walk to class, you know, I'm thinking about whatever in life. Well, for me, it's walk to class and hear 12 species of birds singing in the background, and reminds me of, you know, just everything that's beautiful about nature. So it really adds this, it's exactly what you're saying, you know, changing my eyes, changing my ears, you know, allowing myself to perceive so much more.
Just letting more in, right? Rather than being stuck in your head, thinking and stressing and all the like daily stuff, right?
Right.
So it's a very good point. I like this way because we didn't talk before about this topic, so it's the first time and I like the idea that nature is actually literally everywhere. It's just we don't see it. Even the small pot of flower is part of nature, but you don't see it. You're not there because you're just busy with the stimulus around you, the city noise, cars, paying attention, etc.
Right.
So you're not there, right?
Right.
So yeah, just being in the present moment. I like this idea for guys to keep on their journey of development. That's very important. Let's go to the second topic, which is fitness, right? Eco-fitness. Can you explain what it means first? What do we mean? Because I know fitness, what it means, more or less. Everybody knows what it means, just taking care of your body, taking care of your health, doing sport, eating well, sleeping well, so the basic things. But what do we mean by eco-fitness? What's your perspective on it?
So eco-fitness is, you know, exactly trying to get into better shape, however you perceive that, you know, maybe building muscle, burning fat, trying to be more fit, trying to be more healthy, which is increasing your longevity, but in a way that is more environmentally sustainable and in a way in which you connect to nature, which goes along with the environmental sustainability aspect, because the more you connect to nature, the more it reinforces your love for the planet. So the more it motivates you to be more environmentally sustainable. And when it comes down to being more environmentally sustainable, in my view, I think that for the most part, people, at least in the developed world, at least in my own country, for example, in the United States, and you know, across the world, but especially in the developed world, if we look at the way we eat, that's a huge impact on the environment that we can fix. So agriculture, depending on what study you look at, accounts for about 25% of the world's carbon emissions, for example.
Yeah, absolutely.
Accounts for about 25%, you know, give or take, of a lot of different environmental impacts.
Using all the chemicals and stuff and the machines to do agriculture and so on. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just everything that goes into food production. So, and I guess, you know, I said agriculture. I guess what I really mean is food production, because agriculture is only one part of it. But yeah, basically, if you're able to change how you eat, that is going to be a major factor in reducing your environmental impacts. And there's other things you can do in your life too, like reusing things for sure, and, you know, not driving your car as much. You know, all that can play into your fitness journey. And just more of kind of a mental mindset way of looking at this is, I like to see my body as a microcosm of the earth, and the earth as a macrocosm of my body. And, you know, I just think it's pretty cool. On a fitness journey, you know, aside from the whole eco thing, you really have to pay attention to what you eat in order to, let's say, you know, lose 10 pounds of belly fat. For me, it's the easiest if I really get into the details, kind of nerdily get into the details of counting all the nutrients, all the macronutrients, all the calories. And I like to call this the data set mindset. And when it comes to nature, as a biologist, as a field biologist, when you go out into nature, you have to count things too. If you're a biologist doing a field study, you know, counting birds, for example, you have to nerdily log all these birds. And the cool thing about connecting with nature is bird watchers all across the world, you don't have to be a professional biologist. You can actually go out into nature and count birds and submit them to this online data set called eBird. It's run by Cornell. And So basically, no matter who you are, you can connect to nature and be on a fitness journey and have this data set mentality benefit you in both ways. So I feel like for me, this tendency to want to collect data and observe data, get into the details, has benefited me both in connecting to nature and on my fitness journey. And that's something that I try to emphasize with people is you want to pay attention to the smaller details, to the data on your journey.
Yeah, I mean, beyond the, I like also this. It comes back to the idea of being also present, right? Beyond the data aspect, because I believe most people they hate to count, they hate to do math,
Right.
And it's fine. We have applications today that will help us with that, right? Tracking
Right.
our calories and so on. But beyond that is just being present. The moment you eat, for example, am I sort of hurting? Contributing to the planet, or am I hurting the planet and my body too, right? As part
Right.
of the planet. And it's like being conscious of that whether you are eating, if I understood well, whether you are like going to your work every day. Can I just take an electric scooter, or should I take the car?
Right.
Basic stuff. Rather from being selfish on me, you
Right.
take this perspective of I'm just part of something bigger,
Right.
and I need to pay attention, right? That's kind of
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I think there's this idea too. If what you're doing to try to benefit the planet actually benefits the planet in your individual life, there's this debate. It's like, okay, let's say you do cut down your carbon emissions by 80% in your diet. Is that actually making a significant impact? And my own view, everyone has their own views on this, which it becomes a controversial subject. My own view is that your direct impacts aren't significant, but your indirect impacts are much bigger. Because if you make those individual choices, it's more likely that other people notice that, and it spreads this culture of awareness. And if we want larger structural change, and lots of people think it's political, lots of people think it's through just investing money in
eco-friendly industries
and eco-friendly industries. There's many, but I think most people agree there needs to be some type of change from the top, no matter which way it is. And I just think it's more about spreading awareness than your direct impacts. But also, one theme I try to push too is that I just think that choices that you make that are healthier for your body are also healthier for the planet, and vice versa. I think if you try to eat more environmentally friendly, overall, not every single thing, but overall it is healthier for your body.
Yeah, I see what you mean, and I can add on that because that's a good. I was going to ask you that actually. Like, okay, if I change all that, do I really contribute to the planet, or because others will just continue eating their eating habits and just continue whatever, hurting the planet? But I see it's also another way, which is I, as an individual in my path of development, self-development, I want to be in harmony with not only the planet but with all the ecosystem around me, and just be in peace and harmony with it. And that's also part of it, right? So it's not about whether my contribution is important or not. The question doesn't really matter. What matters is, am I really aligned with who am I really inside? Or am I just following my ego's survival instincts, which is eating too much, drinking too much, not paying attention to my body, to the world? So that's the idea, right? It's part of the development. And as you said, maybe at some point, whether you pay attention to the planet or not, you will find yourself in this path where you are aligned with the planet. Otherwise, you're not on the right direction, right? So,
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is, and this is one of the selling points of my fitness program that I find actually has really been good at getting some clients, is that fitness can be really boring. Going to a dark gym where it's all just
hustling, right?
Yeah, just like it's concrete walls and metal bars. It can be really boring. So it's like, it's a lot of people have that motivation to get in better shape, but they need more motivation, or they need it to be fun. I think the easiest way to get into shape is to make it easy and to make it fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And by tying in this environmental aspect, by making it not just about you, about the planet. You feel like you're contributing to something greater. You feel like you're learning something more than just a normal fitness program. That's really one benefit of my program and how I've been able to sell it to people. And you know, it's pretty cool. Like some of my clients, like they're losing weight, they're on track and everything, but they don't even want to talk about the fitness stuff. They're just asking questions about, you know, all the birds that they're seeing in the field and stuff. Because, you know, the workouts for my plan, they're integrated in with nature activities where they go out and they learn about nature.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, yeah. So you like exercise in a fun, more conscious way, which is pretty nice. Yeah, it's really cool. Maybe one last question before we move to a challenge or exercise that's going to be fun for the viewers. So we've been on this entrepreneurship sort of journey together. I mean, I started like 5 years ago, maybe. As you said, it's ups and downs. But what was like if you have to choose 3 learnings from this journey? On your example, what were they, right? What's these examples that may serve other people also on the journey, right?
Yeah. So from an entrepreneurship perspective, I have learned some really valuable things for sure, 100%. Number one is it's going to be way harder than I think a lot of people think. And I think therefore, you know, you really gotta, you know, you really gotta dive into this only if you really love it. I think entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. I think for me, I want it so bad. You know, and I think it's worth it for me, and it's worth the fight. But
so how does it show? Like it means that you feel like this unsatisfaction with your life if you didn't do it, right?
Yes.
So you're like just thinking about it all the time, but just being not satisfied, right, with all the things around you.
Like literally, like I go to bed every night just thinking about it, thinking about my dreams, about my entrepreneurship goals. So, you know, I think that's my first piece of advice is it's going to be way harder than I think a lot of people think.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you truly love it, if you truly want it, then, you know, then do it. Number 2, and this is actually a very specific piece of advice that I've learned so far that I think is really useful to a lot of people is, the thing is there's all of these mentors out there, right, who, if you try starting an online business and if people see that that you have an online business, you're going to get bombarded with all these coaches, all these business coaches advertising help to you. And I've invested in a couple mentors in the past year, and some have been better than others. And what I've found is that the biggest, most established mentors that have these huge companies where they have all these clients, just like these massive clients that have had all this huge success with these really big testimonials, those actually aren't the best mentors because they're not going to give you as much attention. The best mentors are the ones who are also up and coming, who are going to give you way more attention, who aren't as established. And those are riskier because they aren't as established. They don't have as much to prove. They don't have a history
behind,
But they're going to give you way more attention. And I've basically invested in 2 mentors. The first one was more established, and I just felt like I didn't get enough attention from them. The second one was less established, but they are giving me a lot of attention. And you know, basically the key is to find a mentor, and I say mentor, but also maybe partner, business partner to grow with. And if there's a part in your business specifically that you don't really know how to do, you got to find that. It can be really useful to find that weakness and outsource it to a partner, you know, mentor partner, and really have them either do the work for you or really direct you really well on it. But find someone who's up and coming so that they give you a lot more attention.
So really the idea is that you don't have to go through this entrepreneurship journey like totally alone.
Right.
You can surround yourself with 1 or 2, or depends, a small team that helps you in this process, right? Which complements your skills in a way, right?
Yeah, and you know, I think that's advice that everyone gets. I think everyone knows they need mentors, but I think the advice I'm giving is if you try to get mentorship from a big, really established mentor, they're generally just not going to give you as much attention unless you're already super big. Because a lot of times people charge money for these mentorships, and if you you're just going to get more attention as someone who's starting out from someone who's also on that journey. But it's riskier too, because since they're not as established, they don't have enough to prove.
Well, entrepreneurship in general is riskier, so
right.
The whole process is riskier, so why not try?
For sure.
You have a third one, or we just jump in?
The third one I would say is you got to take risks. You got to take risks, and it's an interesting time too that we're having this podcast, because I'm in the middle of taking a big risk. I made a huge investment in some ad money, and it's fun to see if it works out. I think it will, but you just got to know that you're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to make yourself feel uncomfortable. I've felt pretty uncomfortable the past month, but there's going to be some really tough times. But yeah, you got to take risks. That's my third piece of advice.
Okay, that's a cool one. Eddie, let's get into the challenge. So we're going to try to do as much pull-ups as we can.
Okay.
I think you are a trainer, right, more or less, so I probably, it's like competing with Cristiano Ronaldo on the field of football, right? but it's fine, we're gonna have fun, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I can, we'll see how many pull-ups I can do.
Yeah, I'll just warm up a bit and see how it goes.
I was gonna do a pull day today, which is good. It's funny, I'm in the middle of my bulking stage. I'm trying to put on more muscle, bulk up, but I'm not sure how many. I've been doing mostly weighted push-ups. Not sure how many free weight push-ups I can do, but we'll see.
Let's give it our best, and then we'll see. All right? Okay.
Sounds good.
Let's go, Eddie. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Get a pump.
Okay, guys. Thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure. So you can find Eddie's YouTube and Instagram in the description of the video. Yeah, feel free to follow him. Great advice on fitness and eco fitness mostly. So yeah, Eddie, last words maybe to wrap up this video. What do you say to the guys who watch us, like who wants to get better in their path, right? To become a better person overall. What do you think would be just a nice finishing word, right?
To become a better person overall, you gotta, I like to say, take the green pill. In the Matrix, Morpheus gave two choices: the blue pill for comfort and security, but there's not a lot of risk, in the red pill for excitement and going for your dreams. But obviously, there's big risks. Well, I like to say take the green pill, which is basically taking the red pill, but also embracing a love of nature and connecting with the planet at the same time. So I would say, if you have dreams, don't be scared, go after them, but at the same time, open your eyes to nature and the natural world, because if you look at the fine details, nature is always an adventure, even in your own backyard. It'll make your life so much better.
Yeah, thanks Eddie, man. Thanks for the
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. See you later. Ciao, ciao. Bye.
Oh baby, why you look sad?